I want to do something fun today in this kitchen vlog. I've been thinking about talking about some of the books that were important in my life. Like I mentioned, one of the Robert Johnson books in a previous vlog, and I've read half a dozen of his books. They make psychology very accessible, but there are other books. And for some reason, I got to thinking about the I Ching. I should talk about the I Ching. If you're not familiar with it, this is the I Ching. Now, some people call it the I Ching. Supposedly it's pronounced I Ching. It's sort of like an oracle, but you're not supposed to use it like to predict the future. You use it to, it's a book of changes. It's called the Book of Changes. Think of yin yang, constantly moving around. We're always involved in cycles. The earth is spinning. It's going around the sun with such accuracy that we can predict sunset and sunrise each day. We can predict when the seasons are going to begin, the first day of spring, the first day of fall, etc. These repetitive cycles are part of our life. And if you get really good at understanding life, you build up your wisdom, that you begin to see patterns, and patterns have meaning. The older you get, the more. I like to tell people that the wisdom isn't in something like this. The wisdom is up here. The wisdom is how you interpret some of what's in here. I was very into this when I was in college. Train going by. I usually honk 3 times. There it is. Okay. And 4. Anyways, unusual thing happened back then. How I got my I Ching coins. I was at a party, college. Lots of parties. It wasn't really a party school, but I was in drama. Any excuse for a party. I was at a party. There was a friend of a friend who was there from out of town, and we got to talking. And I mentioned the I Ching. Oh, what's that? Well, it's this book, and you toss coins, Chinese coins, and oh, he says, these coins are for you. What are you talking about? He pulled out of his pocket some Chinese coins. He said, he was up in San Francisco. He was an actor up there doing a show, and some guy came up to him on the street and made him take the coins. Here, these are for you. You're supposed to take these. Well, what do you do when you meet some street people, some street person in a city like San Francisco? Oh, okay. And then you take it, and you hope they never come back, right? So, yeah, he just happened to have these coins on his person. He said, I guess they were meant for you. So he handed me them. That was weird. That's how I got my coins. Anyways, I was into it a lot. And then little by little, I drifted away. In fact, I even threw my book away because it had gotten old and was starting to get dog-eared. And decades went by, and I finally bought a new copy. Same book. This is the Wilhelm is the translator. But ideally, the way to use the book is you ask it some pressing question about the here and the now, not about the future. And it helps to have, it's when you're looking for maybe another perspective on it. And just to give you an example of perspective, this made me laugh. In an earlier kitchen vlog, I talked about my hair sticking up. I said, isn't this depressing? One of the viewers of my kitchen vlog, basically, oh yeah, well, you can just go to hell, something like that. He wasn't being insulting, but he mentioned he polishes his head. What he was saying was, there are people out here who wish they had a head of hair, because I'm 65 years old and I've still got a full head of hair. And sometimes I forget, oh, my hair. I should be thankful I'm thankful that I have hair. There are people, I know a guy who will not go out of his house without wearing a hat because he's so insecure about his going bald. So anyways, that's perspective. But sometimes you need that. You need a little more perspective. And this can throw some ideas at you to get you to look at something a little bit differently. And you use the wisdom to understand the illustrations, the examples. So anyways, there's different ways of questioning the I Ching. One of the common ways is to toss 3 coins, heads being 3, tails being 2, and you toss the coins 6 times. You add up the values each time to get the 6 numbers, the 6 lines that fill up a hexagram. Actually start at the bottom and fill it up. It's not the most accurate way, because the way it used to be done centuries ago is with they call them yarrow stalks. I have some sticks here that I use in place of yarrow stalks. I don't have real yarrow stalks. You can buy them, but I don't need them. You don't need them. The odds of getting the various numbers are a little bit different. The probabilities, numerical probabilities, are a little bit different when you use yarrow stalks. So to duplicate that, you can use 4 coins, and 2 large coins and 2 smaller coins. The 2 small coins count as 1 coin, but they only equal tails when both coins are tails. Otherwise, it's heads. So 1 coin could be heads, the other, or both coins could be head. So it's like for the smaller coins, you're going to get a 25% probability of getting tails. For the other 2 coins, it's 50-50. That matches the probabilities. The probabilities are the same as using yarrow stalks. This is a bit complicated and messy, but it's kind of fun. Kind of fun. Okay, the first thing you need to do is get your stalks out. And I use sticks. These are actually bamboo, which is okay. They're sort of Chinesey. And you count out 50. So I got to count out 50 here. 5, 10, and 50. And that's right, because I have 5 left over. I know I have 5 extra. So I know I have 50 here. Okay. So here's our 50. And before I begin, I got to ask it a question. So let's do, what should I talk about in my next kitchen vlog? It's a nice, safe question, right? Okay. I'm not trying to predict the future. I'm not using it like it's a fortune telling. It's not that sort of thing. This is not the occult, right? Okay. First thing you do is you take 1 out and you leave it permanently out. Okay. Now you have 49. You divide it in half, roughly in half. And from the right hand, you take 1 out and set it aside. We're done with that one right now. And then from the left hand side, you pull them out in groups of 4. 4, 4, until you have 4 or fewer left. 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay, 4. That leaves me 1 left. So now I know when I do the same thing with this group, I'm going to end up with 3. It's like, why go through the whole process? But it's the tradition. This is how it's traditionally done. You do it. You even set it between your fingers certain ways. But 4. As I expected, I have 3. So now I've got 4. That's the first line. Of the 6 lines, starting at the bottom, 4 is the first line, the beginning of the first line. 4 is equal to the value of 3 as a higher value. 3. If it's 8, which is 2 4s, it's equal to 2. So you need a piece of paper, and I need to write down 4, which is equals 3. Okay, so I have my first number, 3. These 4 I now set aside with this one that I set aside earlier. Pick up the ones that I just pulled out, and I do it again. This time, from the right-hand pile, I take out 1, but I don't set it aside. Now I hold on to this one. It's going to be counted. And then from the left-hand pile, again, removing sets of 4. Takes all day. 4, 4, 4. 1 left. So that tells me I'm going to have 2 left on this one. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. There's the 2. 4, again, this is equal to the number 3. So that's that. I have 2 3s. Again, put those aside. That's the discard pile over there. Same thing again, divide it in half, pull 1 out from the right-hand pile, set it in the middle because we're going to use that, and then in the left-hand pile. 4. Makes me laugh. 4. 4. I should take this seriously. This is Chinese wisdom. 4. I have 4 left. So you need 4 or fewer in your hand. So that means when I'm done here, I'm going to end up with 3, right? 4. I can do the numbers. My algebra may not be up to snuff, but I can still count. 3 left. So now I have 8. That's a value of 2. Right? 2. So that's 2. So 4, 3 and 3 and 2. Add those up. Divided by 19. Square root of 144. Hypotenuse of the... 3 and 3 and 2 is equal to 6, 7, 8. I know what that is. That's 8. I have to do this now. Bring this pile back in again. Put it all back together again. And start all over again. To do the same thing to get the second line. And then I'm going to do that for the third and the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. I'm not going to put you through that 6 times. So I'll get the numbers, get them all written down, and then we'll pick up from there, okay? So I have 4, that gives me 8. That's my last number. 8 has the value of 2, which gives me 2, 2, and 2, which is equal to 6. Okay, now I've got my 6 lines. I ended up with an 8, a 9, an 8, an 8, an 8, and a 6. Okay, you don't add those up, but each one of those is one of the 6 lines, okay? Those are the 4 numbers you're going to get. You're either going to get 8, 6, 7, 8, or 9, right? 3 combinations, 3 numbers of either 3s or 2s, right? I'm done with these. I can put these away. This is a long process. All right. Now let's talk about the numbers. 6 and 9 are kind of special numbers. So when you write those lines down, you indicate that those lines are important. In the I Ching, they have information about individual lines if the line is a 6 or a 9. If it's a 7 or an 8, they just contribute to the overall picture, but the lines themselves individually aren't important. A 6 is a broken line, a 7 is a solid line, an 8 is a broken line, a 9 is a solid line. Okay, so now what I have here is a chart that has my trigrams. The bottom 3 is one trigram, the top 3 is another. So 8, 9, 8 gives me a solid, gives me 2 broken lines divided by a solid line. That's con, K apostrophe 8, A-N. And then 3 broken lines on top, that's kun, K apostrophe U-N. So then you just kind of coordinate. That leads to number 7. So it's hexagram number 7. Now I turn to my book, and I turn to hexagram number 7 to see what is my next subject of my kitchen vlog. The army, she, S-H-I-H, the army. This hexagram is made up of the trigrams kan, water, and kun, earth, and thus it symbolizes the groundwater stored up in the earth. That's the symbol. In the same way, military strength is stored up in the mass of the people. Invisible in times of peace, but always ready to use as a source of power. The attributes of the 2 trigrams are danger inside and obedience outside. This points to the nature of an army, which at its core is dangerous. Yeah, they got weapons, while discipline and obedience must prevail outside. Yeah, so that they don't misuse their weapons. So, that's what I'm going to talk about next time. That's the I Ching. That's how you can question. Obviously, it's a lot easier to use the coins, but I think the yarrow stalks are fun.